So I wanted to talk about the undercard fights on the Mayweather-Pacquiao bill last night. I watched the Sky TV feed, so we saw 4 undercard fights. I wanted to briefly talk about those. 2 promising performances, 2 disappointing performances in my opinion. Let me just talk about something first, which I think is particularly relevant to undercard fights, specifically when you're judging a fighter who maybe hasn't yet made it to the very top of the sport, and you're trying to make an assessment as to whether he's likely to get to that elite level, if you like. And I think that's versatility. I mean, this is something that was highlighted by Mayweather-Pacquiao last night. You know, Pacquiao, very good fighter, future Hall of Famer without doubt, but somewhat predictable. A guy who tends to win in one particular fashion. Floyd Mayweather, who I view as an all-time great, has so many different strings to his bow, so many different ways of winning a fight. He's so much more well-rounded. There's so many more different attributes. And I think when we're judging a prospect, judging someone on the way up, judging someone perhaps who's been in one of these undercard fights, looking at versatility is a really important thing. Floyd Mayweather and Vladimir Klitschko have both dominated their respective divisions for a very, very long time. But which one do I see as most likely to lose? Well, at present, I think Vladimir Klitschko is more likely to lose than Floyd Mayweather. And versatility is a key reason why. You know, Vladimir Klitschko, great fighter, top 10 all-time great heavyweight in my opinion. But he wins fights from range. He wins fights with a long 1-2. He's very, very predictable. He doesn't punch to the body. He doesn't have an inside game. You know, there is a way he likes to fight. And somebody with advanced tools, somebody with ability to make him fight outside of his comfort zone, has scope to upset him. That's why I'm confident Tyson Fury has the potential to do well. Because Tyson Fury is a very well-rounded fighter. A tall guy who can move. Who can fight excellently on the inside for a tall guy. Who can box on his front foot, box on his back foot. Who can switch hip. And these are examples of some of the things that I'm talking about when I'm looking at a prospect coming up. You know, when I'm looking at the guys operating in these undercard fights. I'm not necessarily totally impressed by a guy who's got the power just to spark someone out and knock someone out immediately. But I'm looking for someone who can fight on the inside and the outside. Someone who can move. Someone who can punch to the head but doesn't forget to work the body. Someone who isn't just front foot dominant but can box on his back foot. Someone maybe who's got southpaw or can switch stances. You know, I'm looking for someone with punch variety. I'm looking for a really well-rounded individual, which makes me think that when they're going to face different challenges in the pro ring, when they're going to face different types of opponents, they'll be able to have the adjustments, they'll be able to have the well-rounded nature to get the job done. Now let me say this. Our Sky feed came on about 5 minutes past midnight. Now I hadn't done a lot of looking into the undercard. I knew Lomachenko was fighting. I knew Cruz was fighting. But that was about it. I didn't really know who was going to be broadcast. I didn't really know, you know, what the makeup of the undercard fights were. And our Sky feed came on. And we were having a little bit of a problem with the pay-per-view and the system, and the volume wasn't working initially. And there were 2 guys in the ring who I didn't recognise. I hadn't seen either of them fight before. I didn't know what weight class they were. And I watched probably for about 4 or 5 minutes in silence with no volume, no commentary, having no clue who these guys were. And there was a guy, and I turned to my brother who was next to me and I said, "This guy looks really, really good." This guy was super middleweight prospect Hart. Now he was making the guy he was up against Mike Jimenez looked very, very average indeed. When I looked into the guys further, I was surprised to see that both guys were unbeaten and that they were operating in the super middleweight division. Jesse Hart, powerful build, 6'2". Whether he's got a future at super middleweight, I don't know. You know, he looked very, very big at the weight. He looked like a guy who'd be a lot bigger than, say, Carl Froch. You know, if they were stood next to each other. You could tell even by his chest he was just a powerful man. But I really liked what I saw in Jesse Hart. You know, this is a guy I will be following aggressively from now. He's ranked 26th in the super middleweight division in BoxRec. So he's not exactly like some distant prospect, you know, he's there or thereabouts. But right now, this guy has the capability to upset some big names in the super middleweight division. I mean, this guy beats Badu Jack today. This guy beats Arthur Abraham today. For me, this is a real top level operator. I was so impressed by Jesse Hart. He's really one to follow for the future. And if you haven't seen his fight, try and find a fight with Mike Jimenez. Yeah, every punch he threw looked like it hurt Jimenez. Every punch had sting behind it. The guy could move. The guy had combination punching. He had hand speed. He was dropping to the body, you know, a really decent body puncher. A guy who could fight in close and then sort of dance away with the range, pump a jab and fight on the outside. Yeah, I really liked what I saw with Jesse Hart. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm looking at a well-rounded, versatile fighter. This guy's got tools. He's got a toolkit. He's got different skills and different attributes he can bring to a fight, dependent on the opposition he's against. His opponent, no world beater, but an undefeated fighter fighting on the biggest stage of his life, was made to look amateurish. Jesse Hart is one to follow. He beats a lot of the top guys at super middleweight. Whether he's got longevity at that weight due to his size, who knows? But this guy is one to follow. I'd heard his name before, hadn't seen him fight. If you haven't seen him fight, please do check him out. So that was the first fight I watched. The next fight was Chris Pearson versus Saeed El Harak. Now, I knew of Chris Pearson. Again, he's not someone, I think I might have seen clips of him. I've never sat down and watched a Chris Pearson fight. I actually heard Saeed El Harak interviewed by the Boxing Voice the other day, so I knew of both guys. I don't think I'd seen either of them in a fight before. But Chris Pearson, for me, was very unimpressive. The complete opposite of Jesse Hart, in that he was very route one in his offence. You know, didn't seem to carry much power to my eye. And whilst he was, you know, slick and awkward, you know, no adaptation, no sort of ability to go through the gears and raise the tempo, you know. He was fighting in his slick sort of boxer, defensively minded type style. But he brought nothing, you know, he's just so... There was no versatility. It was the same every round. He didn't change the pace. He didn't change the technique whatsoever. It was a boring fight. The styles didn't gel, and that sometimes happens in these kind of fights where you've got two defensively minded, awkward guys. But, you know, light middleweight at present, it's a division with guys like Ishe Smith, who I understand may be up to middleweight actually, Austin Trout, DeCharlos, Eristandi Lara, Demetrius Andrade. You know, we don't really need another sort of slickster in that division. And to me, he just looks so average, so one-dimensional. Like, I really wouldn't be excited at seeing Pearson again. It was the complete opposite of the Jesse Hart fight. And I think it fundamentally comes down to versatility. You know, this is why I brought it up at the start of the video. The different tools Jesse Hart had excited me. Whereas Chris Pearson was the same every round, so predictable. Lomachenko versus Rodriguez. I've got two concerns over Lomachenko. The first is, can he be smothered by a come-forward inside fighter who doesn't give him space? The second is, does he carry enough power for the elite levels of the sport? But apart from those two concerns, this guy is silky. Yeah, this guy is so talented. He kind of left it a few rounds, had a look at his opponent, worked him out, and then threw all sorts of, the combinations were beautiful. Really, really stunning combinations. He looked world class. I'm sorry, managing to spill water over myself there, smooth. I thought this guy looked absolute quality, such a well-rounded individual who absolutely battered his opponent, Rodriguez. I think Lomachenko pretty much won every round, en route to a 9th round stoppage. And, this is a guy who, obviously with his amateur background, has seen everything in the ring, seen all different types of opponents, who's made those adaptations, who's shown that versatility and variety over the course of his career. And where he's at now, even though he's only had 4 or 5 pro fights, he's so well-rounded. As I say, can he be out-muscled by someone who comes forward and doesn't give him room? Does he carry enough crack for the top of the division? I'm unsure about that. But technically, this guy is so exciting to watch due to the different versatility he brings to the ring. So Jesse Hart, Lomachenko, 2 guys I'm high on. Christopher Pearson, someone I'm not keen to see again. And the other one is Leo Santa Cruz. He fought Cayetano, if that's the right pronunciation of the name. And Santa Cruz, he's an exciting fighter to watch in the sense that he's fan-friendly, throws a lot of punches, perhaps a bit defensively open, but this is a guy again who did the same thing every round, and he fights at a very high pace, he throws a lot of lever, everything he throws looks like he's thrown with spite, but there's no education to his game in the same way there was with Vasyl Lomachenko. There's no, every round followed the same pattern. What he was doing, he was landing on this guy, but he wasn't getting him out of there, he wasn't able to turn it up, he wasn't able to change gears, change pace. He wasn't able to find something different. It's the same thing every single round. And you could argue that he doesn't need to do anything different because he's, dominating the fight. And that's fair enough. But this guy he was in against works as like an insurance salesman. If you're not able to get him out of there, you've got big problems going forward in your career. And I just feel that a fighter like Christopher Pearson or like Leo Santa Cruz, who's content with doing the same thing every single round, is fundamentally going to struggle at the very, very top level of the sport. Like Manny Pacquiao last night, he was losing the fight, losing round after round after round, and he was content to do the same thing. He was content to keep trying and plugging away with a formula that just wasn't winning. Leo Santa Cruz, Christopher Pearson, they were winning their fights, but they weren't looking good on a massive stage. They were struggling to dominate against vastly inferior opposition. Lomachenko totally changed up the pace. Put his foot to the gas from round 3 onwards and put in a devastating performance. Jesse Hart would throw a combination to the body on the inside, step out of range, throw a jab, dance around the ring for a combination from the outside. You mix it up. For me, versatility is key. Vasyl Lomachenko, Jesse Hart, 2 guys I will be very keen to see box next time out. Leo Santa Cruz, Christopher Pearson, take it or leave it. Let me know your thoughts, as always, keen to discuss.